Hello, Rebecca.
Hello.
Welcome to Hardy Party of Five and a Half.
Welcome.
Fancy meeting you here.
Fancy.
Okay. So today we have an awesome guest talking about one of the loves of my life, which is the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
Since 1980, since this began, I have been a Maverick fan.
You have.
There have been a lot of bad seasons I've sat through.
Unwavering.
Yes.
You
Die
are.
hard is really the word.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some bad basketball.
That's right.
But I've seen some great basketball.
What's some great things you've seen?
Okay, this is actually against the Mavericks. But when I think of the Mavericks, I've always been a Mavericks fan, but when Dr. J played, he was my favorite player. This is 1986, I believe. So I was like 2 years old. No, I was 16 at the time. So I get tickets. I finally get to see Dr. J in the flesh. Because he's my man crush.
Oh, he's your man.
If I have any man crushes, you can see the poster.
He's on
there's
the wall
a Dr.
right
J
there.
poster behind us. Yeah. Which is cool. I used to have that poster in my room, and then it kind of got lost. And Drew bought me the same poster for Christmas, not even knowing that it was the same poster.
Oh, it was the same one?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I know. I got a little teary-eyed about that.
I am too, now that I know the story. Drew, you're so sweet.
Drew, great job. You're our favorite son. So in 86, I finally get to see Dr. J. My mom went with me. And I know.
What?
I don't know.
I'm learning so much today. Keep going.
We were sitting what seemed like bad seats, because I like to be on the side where I can see the whole court.
Not the end, but
Not
the middle.
end,
Like
yeah.
the middle. When you
Well,
say side, you can be
where you can see the whole court right in front of you.
Right.
Well, in this game,
where everybody likes to be.
Right. Well, in this game, the place I hate to be is on the end behind the basketball goals.
Yeah.
And we were as far as up as you could go at Reunion Arena at the time. So at the time, it seemed like really bad seats. I couldn't see a lot of what's going on the other side of the court, but it turned out great, because with just a few seconds left, Dr. J, he knew I was there.
He did.
He knew I was there. So he hit a half-court three-point shot, and it was from where I was sitting. He shot toward the other basket, so I could see the whole play beautifully. He took 2 dribbles and let it go, won the game. So that's one of the memories I have. That's against the Mavericks.
Right.
So now I have to come up with because there's so many great memories with the Mavericks.
Yeah. And
I just like following the team during the season and see how they develop.
Yeah.
And watch players and all that.
Yeah.
Well, one memory I have is when you and I went to go see the Chicago Bulls and the Mavericks. And
remember that big puffy Chicago Bulls jacket I got you for our 1-year anniversary?
Yes.
In 1993.
Yes. That looks like it's from 1993.
If we had that now, it'd probably worth some money. And
do we not have it?
I don't
know.
I don't know.
It might be in the
attic.
attic.
Think it would be worth some money?
I don't know. I would just wear it.
Somebody would wear it. You would wear it?
I'm not the Bulls fan I used to be.
That's right.
And I was not that big a Michael Jordan fan. I was a
Scottie Pippen fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyways, remember that game, and it was one of the years, 96, where the Bulls were again the best team in the league, and the Mavericks were, man, this is before Dirk, BD.
Yeah.
So we were expecting that they were just going to get trounced, but they ended up winning in overtime.
Wow.
So that's one game I remember that, Mavericks out of nowhere. So,
yeah.
And then I remember, we're going to have a 2-hour podcast, Rebecca.
We have a guest, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. So I do. I also remember in 2011, I've got to mention this, because they finally won the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Do you remember where we were when it happened?
No. Oh, yes.
Where were we?
On a cruise.
We were on a cruise.
We were on a Disney
Disney
cruise.
Magic.
Yeah, we were on a Disney cruise.
So we're sitting on
against the heat, and we were sitting on the deck, right?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, the deck. No, I couldn't remember what that word was. We're sitting on the deck, and there's this giant jumbotron, and we're watching the game, and Dirk's just taking it to the heat, and we saw that final game on the deck of the Disney Magic.
Yeah.
And it was magic.
It was magic.
Yeah. So do you have any?
Yeah, some of my favorite memories of games are like that one time when I had those amazing nachos. Were so good.
What?
Yeah. Well, that's what I remember about the games.
Oh, yeah.
Like the food was so
food?
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I actually, as you talk about games, I remember them, but I'm terrible at that type of stuff.
I think guys have that. We have an extra gene or something in our brain that allows us to remember games.
Right.
They're put in a place that we can pull out later.
The one game I remember is this time that they were calling for all people to come out to do a 3-point shootout contest at Reunion Arena.
I see where you're going.
All these guys go out, and
during the day,
you line up around the building. Scott Hardie's one of them. Line up around the building. Must have been 500 people.
Yeah, the bottom the bottom of the reunion arena was pretty full.
Full.
So I don't know how many people.
Were you lined up inside?
We were lined up outside, and then we sat before you went on the court, you sat in the seats just waiting.
So 500 or so people. And they all go out on the court, I guess, what, one at a time or two at a time?
Two on either side.
On either side. And you're just shooting threes, and the top 10 get
top
tickets
10 made it
for that night's game. Scott Hardie comes in third.
I was third out of like 500.
500 people.
That's my claim to fame in sports.
I love watching Scott play basketball. He's so good at it. He's so smooth like butter.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite.
I like the scouting report.
So it's been a long time since I've seen you play, other than just like pick up with the kids. You get this intense look on your face where
not as much as I used to,
yeah,
but I do get locked in.
You get the look on your face like I am never gonna foul anybody, and you're always gonna foul me. And
isn't that every basketball player?
Probably.
I've never traveled, I've never fouled anyone.
That's right. Yes.
They always found me.
So we got tickets that night to come back, of course. And the winner, top person, gets 2 free American Airlines tickets wherever you wanted to go. And so I am sitting up in the stands, like where they put all the people that won the tickets.
The free tickets, yeah.
Yeah, the free tickets. And with all the other ladies that are up there, like their husbands are all going down to shoot, which was really cool. And I remember seeing you walking on the court for halftime. They were playing the Suns because you walked by Charles Barkley.
I did.
Yeah. And he walked out and you walked in, and I was like, he literally just passed Charles Barkley.
And you got to act cool. You got to act like, this is every day.
Right. For sure. Even though your head comes up to his like belly button.
Yeah.
So anyways, then you go out on the court, and I think you ended in 8th. Maybe,
yeah, I did.
Something like that.
Maybe 6th. I didn't have a good performance.
No.
It's totally different when there was probably 15 to 16,000 people.
A little different.
And I just walked by Charles Barkley.
Yeah, your heart's a fluttering.
Yeah, I'm just you're like a little out of body experience.
It's like a little euphoric.
You're on this court at that time, I've been watching games for 20 years at that court.
Yeah.
So I did not have my best.
But hey,
it was still super fun.
We were there.
Yeah.
And you got us tickets there.
I was looking in my office. I know I have that certificate still.
Do you really?
It's probably in my desk. I've got the certificate that says, 3-point contest, and I made the top 10 and all that. So
yes, you're amazing.
It's
you're
very
really
cool.
Good. Yeah, you're really good at basketball. Anyway, so today we have Dana Larson on our show. You're gonna love her. She's a mom. She's a sports reporter, broadcaster. She does sideline for the Mavericks.
She's won national awards last year she won Best Sportscaster. She's amazing. She's the most professional, awesome person you can meet.
And she has some inside scoops on what she has to say about the Mavericks this year. So, Mavs fan or not, you better listen up, because here is Dana Larson.
First off, I want to say congratulations to Dana for winning Sportscaster of the Year, first woman in Texas to do so. I am such an honor to share a desk with you. I've learned so much from you. You're so well deserving. So we just want to say that it's a big honor, and we're just so happy that you accomplished so much. So congratulations,
Devin. Thank you.
We are amongst royalty right here. The National Sports Media Association, the first woman ever to win the award. Former winners Josh Bogeron from the Stars, Dale Hansen, our own Mark Followell, Brad Sham, Craig Way, Eric Nadell. Look at that. This is a surprise. We didn't want her to know we were doing this. But you are by far the anchor of our team, not the anchor like a sports anchor. You hold this all together. You're dealing with stuff behind the scenes. You know so much about the Mavs. You've made me better in my year that I've been doing this as a novice. I know that you make the show better, and I don't know what we would do, either of us, without you on the broadcast. Well deserved, and congratulations.
To our fearless leader.
Oh my goodness, guys. I'm going to get a little emotional here. Stop it. No, you're only as good as the people you work with. That I know. Behind the scenes and right here with me. I couldn't do it without you guys. You make me look so much better. And it's an honor, certainly. I'm truly, truly honored and humbled. And thank you guys.
Dana Larson, thank you for joining Hardie Party of 5.5. We're so excited to have you here. Totally fanning about this. We are obviously huge Mav fans. And so we just want to hear a little bit of background of how did you, growing up in Scottsdale, did you love sports growing up? Did you play sports?
So I actually never really played sports. I was a gymnast when I was young, and then I was a dancer all the way through college.
Oh, wow.
Like ballet kind of dance, like
Oh, okay.
ballet and
Classical.
musical theater kind of stuff. And in fact, I went to SMU on a dance minor. That was one of the things that got me to Texas. But to go all the way back to the beginning, I was actually born in Denver. And I just was a huge Denver Broncos fan. That was during John Elway heyday. And my dad was a huge fan. I have an older brother, and I just spent a lot of time watching football with them.
Yeah.
And so I just became a fan. It was something to do with them. I'm sure you hear that kind of story a lot. I never really went to play sports, but I was constantly at my brother's games, constantly watching, and I've taken it in by osmosis, loved it, just was a big fan, enjoyed it. Yeah. And as things went along and I got into school and I was trying to figure out what I thought would be interesting for a career, I enjoyed writing a lot. I was really interested in journalism and I loved sports. So I started to kind of think, how could I do this? So little stuff like writing for the high school sports page, doing the sports profiles for the yearbook, things like that. And then that just that's what, ultimately I said, I think I want to do broadcast journalism. And I want to do the sports side of it if I can. So I went to SMU, got a broadcast journalism degree, minor in dance, which was cool, kind of a cool thing to see all these worlds.
Yeah.
Even went to New York one summer to dance to kind of see if that would do it. And that was not going to pay the bills. I figured that out very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I actually was this job when I first got started, to be quite honest. I started in some small markets and I started doing news. I really didn't even get into sports until I begged the news director at my first station when there was an opening to give me a chance. Let me audition, please. I was not enjoying covering the grass fires on the freeway and the city council meetings.
And when you're at the bottom of the barrel, don't you have to go to do the on-site stuff, right? Like stand in front of City Hall when nobody's there.
Yes, all of that stuff. I didn't know what I was doing either. I mean, I was going to these meetings. I didn't know. I just was too young. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. It was more terrifying than anything else. And so luckily they were kind enough to give me a chance, and I've been in sports ever since.
Wow. So that's how you got started in broadcasting in general. Yeah. So how long have you been in sports broadcasting specific?
So I guess technically since 2000, really, maybe 1999, late 1999. But 2000 was when I started. I went to a station in Waco, and then I went to work in Austin. That was a great situation. Loved it there. And then I've been now with this network, which has changed owners and names over the past 20 plus years.
Yeah, that's great. So just in time for the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. That was super fun. That's where we learned to Zoom. We had to figure out how to do all these things from home.
But when we were talking about that earlier, is one of the good things of the pandemic, if there can be something good, is we're all used to Zooms now. Like we wouldn't be able to do the show we do it because no one really knew what Zoom was.
Right. And you probably wouldn't meet us for dinner. So, you know,
that would be awkward. And
I'd love to. I'd still meet you for dinner. I would. For coffee, whatever.
It just makes it easier to meet.
It does.
So it's cool.
It does, yeah.
It definitely, right. I think that's the thing. The ease of it has opened up a lot of opportunities for different things. And I agree. Yeah,
for sure.
So tell us about your first Mavs game.
Well, it's funny when I saw that on, one of your questions, I honestly cannot remember it. I have tried.
They all run together.
They do, I have to say. And I was probably going out and covering them more as a reporter rather than the pre and post game shows. That kind of started a few years after I came to Fox Sports at the time. And so I really don't have a big, strong, vivid memory of my first Mavs game. And I'm so sorry. I could have lied and made something up. I could have. I should have had a good story.
Do you remember your first Mavs game?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
I can't remember my first time.
Point.
I know. It was hard. I know they weren't very good at the time. That
Oh,
much
yeah,
I remember.
true.
Early on it was tough sledding.
Yeah.
So
for
yeah,
sure.
let's talk about that. When a team is not good, we talked about this with Eric Nadell too. Like he comes up with stuff in the booth just to talk about
Mhm.
when the Rangers are bad. So when a team is bad, do you think up things you can talk about when the game's a blowout or
Oh, for sure. And
You
first
know.
of all, Eric Nadell, right? The GOAT. Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah.
He's unbelievable. And that's someone that I can't even believe that I can kind of ask the same question you do. Like, how are
Yeah.
you going to fill this time?
Yeah.
So I am lucky enough to be able to pick his brain from time to time
Mhm.
about stuff like that. And he is as good as it gets. And yes, I mean, we definitely know we come up with ideas. That's when it's like, that's when you're really earning your money, right? I mean,
Yeah.
let's
Mhm.
be creative. Let's put our, all our ideas together. And sometimes that's when some of the most fun things have come about. I mean, we'll use some features that we have of or interview the players and ask them anything but about
About
baseball
the
or
game.
basketball,
Right. Yeah.
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 and just kind of start to get to know them more as people.
Mhm.
And then whenever we play stuff like that in our shows, it seems like it always leads, everybody to some fun direction. And before we know it, we filled a whole segment and we're like, okay, phew,
Yeah.
that was good.
Nice.
Because,
Yeah. Well, I
the
think
game
Eric,
turned out good.
yeah, for sure. Eric Nadell, I think he writes limericks, doesn't he?
Yeah, he
writes
does. He comes up
poems,
with
that,
limericks.
like about what's about the actual game is watching. Like if it gets down to, and people will like send in messages to him on like how to help him like write a poem. Like,
Well, that's just it. I couldn't do that in the middle of broadcasting. How does he do that? That's insane.
Well, with baseball, you have the half innings, so he's got a minute to look at
I
things.
guess you're right. I guess that's true. Yeah. Maybe I need to challenge myself now more.
yeah.
I'm
During the
feeling like I
time.
don't do enough.
Yeah. But I think it does the audience well, like us well, the spectator well, to hear personal stories of them, of
Yeah.
theirs. And I think that's a great place to go because we want to know like what are you having for Thanksgiving? Like
Yes.
give us a
Yes.
little of that, and it makes the next game more personal to us.
Yes.
And we find out
Which
those-
then honestly, if when you watch these players and they make lots of money, and if you don't know anything more about them than their salary and they're losing and they're in a bad stretch, there's no empathy for what they're going through, right? At all. And I think once you realize they are people who come home to families and lose sleep over what happened that day because they weren't good at their job or whatever, probably getting to see that side of them helps fans, rally around those tough times a little bit more. And then of course makes the good stuff like 1,000 times more satisfying,
Yeah, absolutely. For sure.
So you started out when they weren't very good. Then we got Dirk. So things start getting better. So
Right.
we suddenly like 50 games a season every year. So we have two superstars in Dallas, fortunately. We had Dirk and now we have Luka. So tell us about each of those guys and what they're really like.
First of all, I cannot even, and I know everybody this is not breaking news, but Dirk is the greatest ever, like on the court and off the court. We are so lucky to have had somebody in our lives and in our town and with our teams like him, because he is literally just as genuine and funny and wonderful as you hope he would be. So to me, and then to pass the torch on to someone like Luka, like so seamlessly, this is just unbelievable. This just does not happen very often. But I think the thing that's interesting about the difference between the two of them, when Dirk came to Dallas, he was from a small town in Germany. The international player was not something that we were all super familiar with yet. There were certainly great international players in the NBA and had been for years, but there wasn't, all this information to have about them. We didn't know everything about him. He didn't play on a big time team like Luka, and Luka's been playing since he was 16 on these big teams, right? So Luka's been a pro since before he could drive. Dirk got here and was still pretty young and still pretty new to a lot of this. And we watched him grow up. I feel like I grew up with him. I
Yes.
feel like that was what was so cool about him.
Mhm.
And then he got great, and you got to learn all about his work ethic, and he got there because he was super talented, but he was always going to work his tail off. Luka is just one of those supernovas who just kind of has landed here. He's already like ready to go take on the world. He's,
Mhm.
he's got all these people around him because he's a giant business already. And so it's just interesting to see that the difference in that. And I hope, Luka's here for 20 years too. But we had all that time to like enjoy Dirk's like evolution.
Yes.
Yeah.
We raised him.
We kind of grew up
Yeah.
with
We raised
we
Dirk.
raised him.
Didn't we? No, I feel the same. I feel the same way. I was like, knew him when he was just with the bleach blonde hair and the
Right.
ear piercings, and then you see him get married and have children and do all these amazing things with his
Right.
foundation, and you feel so like proud, right?
Right. Yeah. And Luka might still need a little parenting. Right. Maybe.
Oh, maybe.
And we're all here for that.
That's right.
We're here.
That's right.
Well, but
There's a lot of us moms here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
at the same time, I think on the outside looking in, we give athletes a hard time. But when you're 19 and 20 and you're in this crazy world and you're making this crazy money, I can't imagine what I would have done at 19 or 20.
Oh yeah.
I know.
With this kind of access to things and
We'd
all
be a
that.
wreck.
So it's pretty amazing. Yes, we'd be right.
That's why the Lord has not blessed us with that.
That's right. So I think it's a testament to these two superstar guys that they've been humble and they do their work, and
It's true.
so I think that's cool
Mm-hmm.
because we can get pretty negative about it.
Oh, no question. And maybe
Yeah.
even, I don't know. I kind of want to give Dallas a little credit, like for being the right place for both
Oh,
of
yeah.
them. Where it's not a New York, it's not a LA. It was a good spot. It's like right in the middle. It's,
Yeah.
it's not a small market, but it's not a market where it's white hot lights all the time on you. You can make your mistakes, and we're like very forgiving.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
very happy to have you, and we'll work through some things with you along the way too.
Right.
So I
Do you
think
think
that it was
typical for like all of as you're saying that, I'm like, well, kind of all the sports in Texas or DFW area. Like, I feel that way about all of them. Like, the fans around them are pretty forgiving and, going to be alongside with them. And it's not that way in other states, right? Or other places.
I don't think
It is
so.
unusual. Okay.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I can't speak for the Cowboys. That may be a whole different world, but no, I definitely think that. And I think that's why Dirk has stayed and
Mhm.
didn't leave. He could have
Yeah.
gone to another team, but I think he knew this felt right for
Right.
him.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the season's upon us, and we know you're super busy as it ramps up. So how do you get ready for the season?
Well, so I definitely start with diving
Family
into
photos. You start with
training.
family
Yeah.
photos.
Family photos are very important to get out of the way.
Yes, get those out of the way.
Sure.
Got to get that Christmas card taken care of.
Oh, right. All this stuff has to happen now
Yes.
because by Halloween, though, it's wheels off.
That's
Totally
right.
wheels off. No, once training camp starts, there's media day. Media day is like sort of the kickoff of everything. And we do a lot of research, and producers kind of all getting together, and we're looking at the storylines and the new players and this, that. And then we gather all those interviews at media day and really start to kind of get a feel for like, okay, how is this going to go? And then training camp, I go to practices, we do the media availability, go to the preseason games,
Mhm.
and just, get to hear what they're saying, see what the practices look like, see what the games look like. And just, I think kind of, submerge yourself into this world right now, and then feel like you have a pretty good foundation by like the opener of what this is going to look like, what the big stories are, because that's what we're trying to do. We want to make sure we're hitting all the big stories. What's, has that changed over training camp, or are those things looking like that's what everybody's still focused on?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like before last season, did you get when you're around the team so much, did you get the vibe that this could be a team that goes a long ways last year?
So
Or
I
the
will
Cubs
tell you
surprise?
just, yeah, a little bit of a personal note for me. Last year, I actually missed all of training camp for the most part. Unfortunately, my mom had a real scary health issue, which
Okay.
happened right in September. And my company was amazing and they gave me full leave. And I really missed a lot, I'll be honest. So when I came back, I was like, okay, here we go. I was diving in and I was seeing it with everybody. I didn't. So to answer your question, I really didn't have a good sense of what this could be. I knew Jason Kidd had a lot of question marks around his history as a head coach. So how would that play out here? That was could make or break, obviously, the direction this went. I don't think anybody saw it going this smoothly in his first year. There was so much buy-in by the team. He has Luka's respect, he has Luka's trust, and when you have those things from the star player, everybody falls in line.
Right.
And that just, and it wasn't perfect. Obviously, we remember there were some ups and downs. Like at Christmas, they were below 500 last year.
I remember, yeah.
So it took that crazy month of January. I think they won 12 out of 14 games in January to really get it going. And then of course the big trade. So here, things can change over the course of a season, obviously, especially with the trade deadline. And so I had almost zero anticipation of the season last year, and then was like so pleasantly surprised, obviously, with those things working out like they did.
Okay, so this season, you've been around the team more. What vibe are you getting now? We want the official Dana Larson. we want scouting reports. We want predictions. So,
wow. Okay. Put me on the spot big time. I think, this is the problem. This is going to be like, you can relive this in a few months, right? Everyone's going to be like, she was so wrong. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But what if you're not?
What if you nail all of it?
Yes.
This will be
Then we
amazing.
get the first Dana Larson interview of 2023 is what's going to happen.
Yes, this will be a tradition. This will be an absolute tradition. So it feels really good. It feels really exciting.
Yeah.
It feels like not only are they already comfortable with the defensive foundation that Jason Kidd laid, they're already in knowing that's what's going to win games and get them to the playoffs. There's chemistry there because there's a lot of the same guys. The new guys that were added, I think, are already getting people's attention. They know it filled a void. Yes, they lost Jalen Brunson. That is a major hole to fill. Nobody's dancing around that. Everybody's acknowledging that. But it does feel like there are enough things to make up for it in different ways. Tim Hardaway Jr. was out for almost the entire second half. He looks really good, really healthy. They were not big. They now added two huge bigs, with Christian Wood and JaVale McGee. They should not be bullied around the rim anymore. They shouldn't have to play small ball just out of necessity, which sometimes was to their advantage. But I think there's a lot of excitement. The rookie, by the way, Hardie Party, you guys. I'm so excited for you because Jaden Hardie, everybody loves this kid. And it's going to be a Hardie Party all year.
It's going to be a Hardie Party. We need to get some jerseys.
I know we need to do a tie-in for that.
Yeah.
You definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah. So Spencer Dinwiddie, it's just a fun name to say.
Yes.
He came in with the trade and he just kind of took off. Like, he's already a talented player, so it seemed like he fit in great with Luka. So will he be starting with Luka, or is he going to keep coming off the bench now that Jalen's?
It feels like he's going to start.
Yeah.
He did not start in the second preseason game. They actually had the rookie, Jaden Hardie, come in and start in that number 2 spot. But I think that was just looking at things. It's hard to take much from preseason games.
Yeah.
I think the idea is definitely to have Dinwiddie start, but then what they will do is the minutes, the way they will manage them is Luka will play the entire first quarter, most likely. That's how he did often. Dinwiddie will start, but come out earlier. so that then they will start staggering Luka and Dinwiddie. So there'll be time together. And then there will be times when he's out there by himself. So I think that, and that could change, they may try different things and look at different things. I think Dinwiddie loves this opportunity. This is big for him, know, and I think he wants to take full advantage of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us about Dorian Finney-Smith. He's kind of like, to me, he's like the glue of the team a lot. So what do you think about his game?
Not only the glue, but I always say he's the heart and soul.
Yeah.
I think he is, and I notice it even more this year. I feel like he's now like this, the spoke in the middle of the wheel. Like Luka's this straw that stirs the drink. But it's like without Dorian Finney-Smith, he just brings everybody together like the glue, like you said, because everybody respects how he got here. Undrafted, worked his way just to make the roster. I mean, just imagine that. He wasn't even drafted and had to work and fight just to make the roster. Now he's like a guy he's like untradeable. You don't want to lose him. He starts every night. He plays 40 plus minutes. You have to have his defense. You have to have his offense. All of that stuff we now know all about him. He became a 3-point shooter. He was not. He worked hard to add those things, to find his niche. Everybody respects that so much. And he's a great personality. He's so fun. He's so real. He's like super genuine. He's the guy when the rookies come in, he's kind of taken them now under his wing. So Jaden has connected with him. And it's like if Dorian brings you in, okay, you're all good. Everybody's good with Wow. So I just think he is. And I asked him at Media Day, I was like, do you still think you're underrated? Are you getting enough credit for what you do? And he said, it doesn't matter if people notice. I don't care. Wow. I just know what I need to do. I know that I want to work really hard. I want to help this team win games. And I mean, that is absolutely what he has done. He's now irreplaceable almost. Yeah. It's amazing. I love him. He's just, like I said, the heart and soul.
Yeah. That's like the definition of a leader also.
Yeah. The one that doesn't care if he gets.
Yeah. It's to elevate the rest of your team. Yeah. That's great.
Okay. So we've heard a lot of good things, Dana. So what do you think? Are we going to win 50 again? And how far are we going to go in the playoffs? I know it's a long out, but
I know
predictions you can be making right now. I mean,
I know. Oh my God, this is so scary.
We're putting money down on whatever you say.
Right.
Okay.
Money.
If you see my NFL picks in the Dallas Morning News, you probably will want to stay away from doing that. I think they will win 50 games. It is going to be a lot harder, though, to get as far as they did. There were a lot of things that lined up well in the Western Conference last year. The Clippers had major injuries.
Yeah, they did.
They were not, competitive like they should be. And they are, one of the absolute teams that are the favorites to win it all now with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George back and healthy. So you've now got them back in the mix. You've got other teams. You've got Zion with New Orleans back. I mean, he is going to be so much fun. And New Orleans they made the playoffs after starting so poorly last year. So they're in the mix. Memphis is going to be good again. Phoenix is, who knows? They're a mess, but they have so much talent. They're going to win a bunch of games. Golden State, of course. So I just think the path to get to the Western Conference Finals is going to be so much harder. That I want to say they're going to get to the semis, and I'll be thrilled if they're back in the finals.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's ironic because they're probably going to have a better team, but just a tougher conference to get through.
It's a really good.
I think the Lakers are going to be a lot better too. I think they're going to get it back together.
And you're totally right. That's what's so funny. I keep like not even thinking of the Lakers because I don't know what to make of them. I'm like, is Russell Westbrook really going to still be out there messing things up? Is LeBron really going to, be able to play? How many games? It seems like none of those guys can play more than 30 games at this point. So you're right though. It's ridiculous of me not to give them their due respect.
I don't want them to be there, but I have a feeling They might rebound this year.
We did buy tickets to one of their games.
We did. We're going in LA. So.
We're going to LA over Christmas time, and we are crazy because we found out the Laker game is at 6:30 on a Monday night.
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
No, it's a Monday night. It's the 18th.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, maybe you're right. He might be. He's probably right.
I'm right this time.
I think you're right. So anyways, we were like, we want to go to SoFi too. I wonder what's going on there. Well, the Chargers play at 1:30. We're going to a 1:30 Charger game, and then we're going to try to get through LA traffic to a 6:30 Laker game. I know, we're nuts.
Wow, that's amazing.
I don't know
That's
if we're going to make it or not.
We'll see how it goes.
We spent more money on the Laker tickets, so we're prepared to bail on the SoFi game.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably smart. Wow, good for
sure.
you guys.
So do you have any like funny, crazy stories? Have you gotten like ran over 100 times? Like any funny stories you can think of?
You know, just the stuff that I guess stands out that I'll probably look back on when it's all said and done are just the moments like being in a clubhouse with champagne, being sprayed, and getting to be a part of a team traveling group, going on a private jet for the first and only times I'll ever be on a private jet, traveling with the team. There were just a lot of things, or just the fact that I had my two daughters over the course of basically the Rangers going to the World Series and the Mavericks in winning their NBA title. I was doing their championship parade at like 9 months pregnant, and so I tell that story to my daughter all the time, like every time she brings it up, so just, I think getting to have those experiences, getting to know some of them and almost be able to call some of them friends, these athletes, because or that I end up working with them and become friends with them is pretty amazing. I mean, I'll be forever grateful. Michael Young mentioned me in his Rangers Hall of Fame speech, and I was like, oh my God. But there was and I appreciate, as much as we show them so much respect and honor what they do in their time, when somebody does the same to you, it is really, really amazing, because a lot of times they don't want to deal with the media or look at you as the bad guy, or that their time is more important, right? And there are so many though, like Dirk, like Michael Young, like the ones I get to work with now, that are really great people, and that's pretty special.
That makes it all. So you mentioned your daughters. How do you balance that? I mean, tell the mom out there, how do you balance your job? You are doing all kinds of jobs.
How old are your daughters now?
I have a 14-year-old, she's a freshman in high school, and an 11-year-old, 6th grade.
You're in the trenches.
I know. And at least it's actually probably easier now, like when they were babies. And I remember, like, Rebecca, you can probably appreciate this. I was carrying like my pack of milk for the babies on my back as I'm flying to cover the World Series in St. Louis. And I'm like, what are you doing? This is so hard. This is so hard. And it was so hard. And I was just so tired. That's why I don't think I remember anything. I just, it's
just
all
walking
gone.
through a daze. Yeah.
Just a daze. But I probably don't balance it, right? Like all working parents, you can only try. Right. And there's going to be times when it's way out of kilter. You're either working way too much, or you have to, or you're, I've got some time away and I'm fully engrossed in the kids, and I'm going, oh my God, when can I go back to work?
Get me out of here.
It's so much harder,
It is so much harder. You're right. And parenting, it's like you're in the trenches, but it's good for them to see you work so hard. It's good for them to see you succeed and fail. All of these are life lessons for them too. Like they're learning from you as well. So
that's true. Yeah. I think once they got old enough, that's when I felt better about having been gone or being gone for work, was when one of them, or any one of or two of them, could say to me like, oh, it's okay, Mom. That's all right. Go to work. We understand. That's cool. You're going to have fun. Tell us about it later. And you're like, Okay,
That's
instead
right.
of them holding on to your leg,
Yeah.
crying,
Right.
Coco, no.
Yeah. Mom, here's your gold star. Go to work. It's good.
Yeah. Now my teenager's like, can you go, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Why are you here? Yeah.
Exactly. That's so
That's funny.
true. Well, Dana, you are a role model for lots of young girls and young women who want to be in this profession. You have just proven yourself to be amazing at this. And we are so thankful you took time with Hardy Party of 5.5 today. You're beautiful. I hope your family pictures are wonderful. And
Thank you.
we are going to see you on the sidelines.
Okay, good. Come say hi. I'd love
Oh,
to see
we
you.
will. That would
I'd
be
love
so
to see
great.
Thanks so much, Dana.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed it. Bye, guys.
Okay, Rebecca, according to Dana, it's playoff time again.
So apparently it's time to go play some bets.
That's right. We're putting all our
Who's
money
our-
down.
Who's our bookie? Is that what they're called?
I don't know if they're called bookies anymore. I think you can just go online on your phone and do it now. You don't have to
Oh,
like
okay.
go to a,
So your
the back of
phone
a
is your
bar.
bookie.
Yes. We're putting all our savings on everything that Dana just said. No pressure, Dana.
No pressure.
It's gonna be fine. But
She's
I'm
never going to talk to us again.
well, if it all works out, she'll be like
block.
right. So just getting to talk about the Mavericks, and it's just so exciting.
Yeah.
That's the way I am with local teams, my local teams. If they can just be competitive, like the Rangers this year, just be competitive and I'm good.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy going to the games, but just show me something.
You don't ask for a lot.
No. So I'm excited that we're looking at the Mavericks going to the playoffs again because I remember going back to the Wayback Machine again, going to Reunion Arena. I went to a Portland Trailblazer Maverick playoff game, and it was I got to sit on the side this time so I could see the whole court. But it was the most amazing experience because even though American Airlines Center can be great, Reunion Arena was just it was smaller, people were closer together, it was louder.
Yeah.
And I remember just how crazy it was a cool sports experience. And the Mavericks won that game. I think they ended up losing that series. But it was I just remember the rowdy fans and how exciting it was. So I just love that. Like even baseball playoffs, even though the Rangers aren't in it again, I get excited about the playoffs because that's when every inning and every quarter
Everything
and every
matters.
shot matters.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to go get Maverick tickets because Dana told us to come say hi.
That's right. We got to go see her.
That's right.
This is the last little bit of money we have before we put everything on the Mavericks this year.
Spending it on 2 Maverick tickets.
Yeah. And then we're placing our bets. Then we got to wait until June or July to see what happens.
That's all right. She's either going to be brilliant or we're going to be poor.
Is it considered a short-term or long-term investment if it's 8 or 9 months?
That's probably short term.
Okay. So we have a short-term investment going.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this interview with Dana Larson. Isn't she the sweetest? Don't you
She's
just want to
awesome.
have dinner with her?
Exactly.
She's
Yeah.
amazing. We loved it. We loved all the insight. We're not really going to spend all our money on bets, right?
Well, we'll talk about that off air.
Okay. Good to know.
When's the last time you heard me betting anything?
Never.
Yeah, I don't really do that.
You don't do that.
No.
So I feel like we're safe. Dana,
Yeah.
Dana, you're safe. So we hope you enjoyed this little peek into the Maverick season with Dana Larson, Hardy Party of 5.5, over and out.
We'll see you next time.